Dads meet their child when the baby is born, but imagine living more than 30 years unaware you even had a daughter out there in the world.
That's exactly what happened to a man in Wisconsin who had no idea that a TV news reporter who once worked right here at ABC 7 was his child, until she discovered him just weeks ago.
For 32 years, Andrea Lyon never got a birthday card from her father. Not one. But it wasn't because he forgot or didn't care. No, the birthday cards from Dad didn't exist because he didn't know she existed.
It was never something that I needed to know. I didn't need a dad. I didn't feel like I was missing anything. I just felt like I didn't know who he was. Me as a baby, and
Andrea's mom had decided that's how she wanted it. That's how she wanted the family photo album to look. No dad in the picture.
My mom and I, my grandparents.
But no father. The background on that. Andrea's mom was a wild teen. Honestly wasn't really sure who Andrea's dad was. She lived a tough life. But Andrea, she was the light in a sea of darkness.
She said I was finally something good that happened to her. And I was hers, and it didn't matter who my dad was.
So Andrea grew up without knowing a dad. Without needing a dad, she thought. Childhood, volleyball, prom.
Behind this gate, now of course this is not 100%.
Then a career as a TV news reporter. She worked here in Fort Myers with us a couple of years. Maybe that's why the face seems familiar. All the while, she wondered if the faces she would see in a crowd were familiar too. Were they her dad? Probably not, but maybe.
It was always just in the back of my mind. And when I got the courage or the time or the emotional energy to try to look again, I would look.
Curiosity sent her to Ancestry and then 23andMe, hoping they could answer what her mom could not. Who's my dad? Instead,
a lot of cousins.
But look at the family tree. The answer she really wanted, Dad, was still blank.
Then, the turning point. A couple weeks ago, Andrea's husband, who also works at a TV station, came home and said, "Hey, my coworker found his dad using DNAngels, a nonprofit that specializes in finding biological parents for free. You should use this," he said.
I was assigned as her search angel.
And for Amy Morris, that meant she was starting a puzzle. Using the few pieces that Andrea could give her, this DNA angel put it all together. Using what she calls mapping and matches.
It sounds like a secret recipe that you know how to do, and that's the important part.
Yeah, it's so hard to explain.
But she didn't need to, because she could tell Andrea what no one else could. I know who your dad is.
When she told me, I was in a complete brain fog because I'm like, what, you know who my family is? Like, yeah. I didn't expect it.
Certainly didn't expect a name. Norman Butch Johnson, Somerset, Wisconsin. And there was a phone number, too.
So I sent a text, "Is this Norman by chance?"
Look at the text. Andrea inched into this. And he called her.
Again, I didn't want to scare him away. That was my biggest fear, is that this person was going to hang up the phone, think I was lying, reject me, say that I wasn't his, just be nasty. That's what I expected.
But he wasn't. You want to meet this guy? The guy who just listened, asked questions, and when they hung up...
And the first thing I did is look her up on Facebook. She did too. And then when I first seen her, it was like, wow, this is real.
Can you see why? There is a strong resemblance. He asked her how tall she was. 6'1", she said. He's 6'4".
And then I knew something was going on here.
He was cool, he was calm, he was sweet, he was open.
And ready to know for sure. The paternity test took 4 days.
Probability of paternity is 99.999%.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, like I said, I'll probably have to start working on those 32 birthday cards.
You're my dad.
Unbelievable.
They've spent the last 2 months catching up on 32 years. Turns out, Butch met Andrea's mom at a party. They knew each other all of 3 hours. That was it.
I never seen her again, heard from her or nothing.
She didn't know Butch later got married, didn't hear he had a son, didn't see the headline in the local paper when he built the boy a baseball field.
Nuts, no. A fan, sure. A good dad, you bet.
The irony bleeds off the page.
him being a good dad. I was like, how ironic.
Andrea is now a mom to 2 boys of her own. Yes, a text message gave Butch a daughter and more grandkids overnight.
And it's great seeing all the pictures, but what really hurt is I didn't have no memories for them. That's what hurt the most.
It's so sweet, but at the same time, I feel so bad for him that he didn't know.
What they do know is there's time for new memories. Butch and Andrea met for the very first time a few weekends ago. Andrea brought a funny card. Congratulations, it's a baby girl, it said. And Butch, he brought more than 32 birthday cards from new family and friends. Belated birthday gifts from the dad who didn't know he was one to the daughter who didn't know she needed one.
Did not know what I was missing out on for 32 years.
DNAngels says they were thrilled that Andrea's story had a happy ending because many don't. Biological parents sometimes find out about kids and want nothing to do with them. If you want to support or learn more about DNAngels, we did a link to their website under the Get More tab on the ABC7 News app. That's one of the things that stands out to me about this story is how open Butch was to all of this. He seems thrilled that he has a daughter.
So lucky for Andrea, because as you just mentioned, and she was fearful of, it could have gone so much worse. So happy. We saw it all being played out on Instagram and Facebook, and all of us in the newsroom were so excited. Those of us who used to work with her, we were so excited for her.
Andrea is one of our favorites here in the newsroom. She worked here for a couple of years, and we were just ecstatic to see good news happen to her.
Great story.